You are in for a special treat on today's stop for our urban coop tour. Today, you are not only going to get one, but you're going to get two coop tours. Both coops on today's tour are available for you to go check out at the Wylde Center. The Wylde Center is an educational green space located in Atlanta that has 5 different locations. Today, I'm taking you to the Edgewood and the Oakhurst Garden locations to see their chicken coops. Let's go head on over to the Edgewood Garden location where our friend Taffany is there to give you a tour of the chicken coop.
Welcome to the Wylde Center's Edgewood Garden location. My name is Taffany Hyatt and I am the site coordinator here for the garden. One of the major features that we have here is our chicken coop. We have signs and labels in regards to what are acceptable chicken treats and what you cannot feed hens. So this right here is our feeding latch. So you just open it up and you'll be able to put any of the leafy greens. They love their fruits. You'll see watermelon rinds. When we have 5 red Rhode Island hens, and I can honestly say I love this breed. They are very even tempered. So they're one of the top producers of eggs. So they produce about 250 to 325 eggs a year, and there's only 365 days out of the year, y'all. So basically the only time they aren't laying eggs is during the colder winter months. As we come inside of the chicken coop, as you can see here, the chicken wire goes further down past ground level, and that's mainly to stop pests and rodents from coming inside, any predators as well. We bury the wire a foot below ground level, so that's enough assurity. So if like a possum or a raccoon tries to scurry their way in, they won't be able to actually make it. So our girls are in here safe and happy. One thing I do love that I personally got are these feeders. One is for food and these are for water here, and it just makes feeding and watering a lot easier. It lasts for a good 2 to 3 days depending on how hot it is. So as we come in, we have a little chicken swing. Periodically when they're in the mood, they'll swing on it. But here is our storage bin. We have everything in here as far as food, scoops, any extra egg cartons, a regular jug that we can fill the water in so we can refill the watering container. We do keep this locked even though hens don't have opposable thumbs, because you never know. You know, coolest features that I love about our chicken coop is that we actually have bees. We have 2 live beehives that are buzzing and full of life. This works not only because they make good roommates. They eat any grub or pests that might want to crawl up into the beehives. So basically, they're doing our job for us, keeping the hives nice and healthy while still burrowing and doing their thing. There hasn't been any issues between them. There no arguments, no squabbles. And then also we like to keep it inside the chicken coop, be it that this is a public space, just for safety reasons. Above us we have the netting as well, and you'll see like these old pieces of vines that we have here. We actually grow a lot of beans on the outside. I don't know if you can see through the mesh. We plant the beans so that they vine all the way up and through the coop, and during the hot, sweltering Georgia scorcher months, they provide ample amount of shade, and this whole thing is just shaded. So this is our coop here. And as you can see, there is tons of space. We try to accommodate each hen with their own area, but for some reason they seem to like only 2 beds, which is pretty normal, I think, in the chicken world. I use wood shavings as the bedding, mainly because of course we want to recycle that from the working wood shops. But then also it soaks the water, not the water, but their feces and all of their bowel movements pretty well. I can leave a really nice thick layer for a good month. If it's a thinner layer, depending on what I apply, I'll bi-weekly clean it. You know, we gotta make sure they're clean and they're happy. Another important feature is an inside latch. I would highly recommend it, mainly because you don't want to come in and next thing you know all the hens are out and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off trying to get them. So an indoor latch saves you a lot of hassle and trouble. Here we actually have the outside of the coop, which is right above where they lay their eggs for easy access. So instead of having to fight through the inside, we can just easily lift up the latch here and pull up. But I would recommend getting latches or locks for your coop. Of course, this is a public area, so just for the safety of the girls and the hens, we have that. But then also because we aren't the only beings with opposable thumbs. Raccoons, they can definitely lift this up. You want to fortify and reinforce your chicken coop to make sure nothing can go in. Okay, this is how it looks. These are the beds where they'll lay their eggs. They don't really like this side, but on the other side, I'm pretty sure there are some eggs. And then also with our chicken bedding, once we do clean out the bedding, we actually have a semi-commercial compost bin. So we put all of the old bedding into the compost bin, and that aids the process of decomposition within the compost bin, adds back nutrients, all that good stuff. So if you do have a semi-commercial or above, I would recommend doing that. If you are going to compost and use the chicken manure in a regular composting system, there's a 180-day rule. After 180 days of it being in the system itself, then it'll be safe and viable for you to use out in your garden or anywhere else. Anytime before that, there's not enough time for the bioprocesses to make sure it's non-hazardous. So FYI, 180 days if you do not have a semi-commercial or a commercial compost bin. So we have eggs on this side. Right here, we got some golden girls. Go ahead and harvest. I have these 6-count egg cartons that I like to use. And then also on the top, I have the egg handling instructions because we do donate. So just to make sure everyone's well informed on how to handle and use fresh free-range eggs. We get some lovely eggs. Some with speckles, some lighter, some darker. We have a group called the Chicken Tenders here at Edgewood that are community members that live within walking distance that come and help me maintain the chicken coop. Shout out the Chicken Tenders. They help me so much feeding, maintaining, and just keeping it on the up and up.
Hi, my name's Christy Bible. I'm the site coordinator at Wylde Center's Oakhurst Garden. As part of Oakhurst Garden, we have these lovely ladies here, our chickens. These guys have been living here for about 2 years now, so we're having so much fun taking care of them. We built this home for our chickens about 2.5 years ago. And the first step with coming up with a home space for our chickens was finding the perfect spot for them in the garden. I'm most concerned about them being safe, happy, and healthy. One of those is making sure that they had some shade. Chickens can get really hot, and we want to make sure that we keep them in a space where they can cool down as much as possible. So as you can see, this coop is located under some shade trees, so it feels nice and breezy under here on a hot day. One of our other large concerns with having chickens in our urban garden is predators. As we made sure that our coop was secure, including our run, this is only about 1/2 inch. And some predators, including minks, which you might not think about in Georgia, can get into spaces as small as 1/4. So your traditional chicken wire sometimes doesn't do the job when it comes to that. The other thing that we did was we ran our hardware cloth out about 2 or 3 feet outside of the coop and run area. And this way, if a predator tries to dig in right at the coop or run, they aren't able to get in. They'd have to back up 2 or 3 feet, and most predators wouldn't know to do that. So that helps a lot too. Here at Oakhurst Garden, one of the really nice things that we've done is we got the community really involved when we got our chickens. In fact, these chickens were hatched at the local elementary school. The one thing that happens when you hatch your own chickens is you don't know how many males or females you're going to get. And so we actually had a lot more male chickens than female chickens, and we ended up with only 2 females. So we had a very small flock of hens, and we knew that we wanted some more, but sometimes that can be a challenge because integrating 2 different flocks can be difficult. Sometimes they don't get along that well. We used it as an opportunity to do an expansion on our run. So we found another flock up in North Georgia. They were about 6 months old, and our other chickens were a little over a year old at this time. And so what we did is we built this expansion here that you can see behind us. And that worked out really nicely because when we brought in the new flock, we put them in there, we sealed off the door to that expansion. And so the new flock and the old flock were able to sort of meet each other without actually meeting each other. And so we let that happen for a couple weeks, and then we finally opened the door and let them meet officially. And at first they weren't super happy with each other, but as you can see now, they're all best friends. So I think just taking it slowly allows for everybody to finally find their place. And what we've done here at Oakhurst Garden is we've created a team of folks who all work together to take care of our chickens. We're called Team Chicken, and we have 7 members. Each member has one day of the week that they are responsible for the chickens. So their responsibilities include making sure the chickens have fresh water, making sure the chickens have fresh food, and then just sort of taking a quick look around the coop and making sure there isn't anything that needs attention. The reward for that is they get to take home the eggs for that day. And it works out really nicely because no one person has to take on the lion's share of the work for taking care of the chickens. And then we also come together and do some of the larger projects. For example, we built all the extensions together. That worked out really nicely. We had a lot of skilled Team Chicken members that helped us make that happen. Children especially love the chickens, and they love feeding them. Right now it's mulberry season, and so these chickens are lucky because they have a mulberry tree overhead. Unfortunately, the mulberries get caught on the roof of their run, but it's nothing that little hands can't poke right through. So they get tons of fresh fruit every day. Which our chickens enjoy eating New Country organic chicken food donated graciously by City Chick Atlanta. We appreciate everything they do, including giving us amazing advice, and Heath and his team did such a wonderful job teaching us about raising chicks from egg up to these ladies you see now.